it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today, and welcome to my Advent countdown. I will be bringing 24 Christmas-themed projects over the next 24 or so days. I may drop a few other videos in amongst them, but it's going to be there or thereabouts. So this is the first one, and it's a little cracker, and this actually contains 4 tea lights, and these are from our good friends IKEA, which seems to be a fairly standard shop to be able to use globally. Although, having said that, if I just grab these, would have been useful to have had those. If I just grab these are from a local supermarket, Sainsbury's. So those of you in the UK will know Sainsbury's. They are the same diameter. They're a little bit shallower, but they are about the same size. They don't sit as nicely because the wick comes above the cup, but they would fit into this as well. So, and I would say that Sainsbury's tea lights are probably fairly standard tea lights, so those would work as well. But I'm going to use these IKEA ones. These ones happen to smell of vanilla, which for me is a nice wintry sort of warming scent. So that's why I'm using those. So this is a project using the envelope punch board. This is actually the first cracker I have made. So let's get started. I'm using the Cheers to the Year, she says, never remembering the names of these things. Year of Cheer specialty paper, which is in the Autumn Winter catalogue. It is beautiful. It's single-sided, but it's fully foiled, so it's plain white on one side and foiled on the other, and it is gorgeous. So this used the snowflakes paper, so this is a better look at the actual paper, and I'm going for this beautiful copper foiled paper this time. Dimensions, as ever, are on my blog post, which is linked below. But this is 5 3/4 this way and 7 1/4 this way. It does use the envelope punch board, but we're going to score it first. Let me make sure you can see the top of the scoreboard, which you can. So, with the narrow end at the top, so the 5 3/4, you can see 5 3/4 at the top, we're going to score every 7/8 of an inch, which sounds scarier than it is. 7/8 of an inch is just under the inch. So 7/8, and all you do is just drop down 1/8 of an inch each time. So that was down 1 from 2, so we dropped down down 1 from 1, down 2 from 2, down 3 from 3. So it actually works really easily. So this is, if I had a brain, I'd be dangerous. 1 3/4, 5 5/8. So we're down 3 from 3, down 4 from 4, 3 1/2, down 5 from 5, 4 3/8, and down 6 from 6 will bring us to 5 1/4. So that's the scoring for the length. And then for the width, we just score at 1 1/2, 2 1/2, 4 3/4, and 5 3/4. So that's all our scoring done. So, pop my scoreboard away and just burnish all of those score lines. So thank you all of you for your very, very kind comments through my Halloween series, particularly on the last project. I did try to save the best till last, and I'm delighted to say it appears you agreed. So I have to say I really enjoyed doing the Halloween series. Halloween is not a festival that I've really embraced over the years. It came to the UK, although it's a UK export to the US that has then come back again. It came to me, or to the UK as far as I was concerned, kind of too late on. I'm a wee bit too old for its resurgence in the UK. But I love it. Had great fun doing it. So, envelope punch board. Now this is going to be not difficult, but we are going through 2 layers of effectively thin card. And what we're doing is we're going to ignore the folds. We are going to line up our end at the 2 mark. So you're going to fold and line up to the 2-inch mark and punch. And this is where having a padded surface underneath may not be great. It's much easier on a solid surface, but I do have a bit of padding underneath my surface, so I'm just going to go with it. But in fact, what I might do is bring in, you know what, my trusty cheese board, because that will give me a slightly more solid surface to punch onto. So if I pop that underneath, that should give me just a little bit of resistance. May not, maybe a disaster. We're about to find out. So 2 inches. Yeah, that's a bit better. It just means that the feet are actually pushing onto something solid rather than a soft background. So you wouldn't want to do this in cardstock. It would be really quite tricky to get through all the layers. So do just bear that in mind. And then you do need to do this last one as well, which will be easy by comparison. And then do the same again. So the first one will be just the single layer, and then fold and punch. Oh, and do remember to do that every now and again, because that can make it harder. If you've got a build-up of card behind the punch mechanism, it doesn't help the shining hour. Oh, nearly done. And then it's actually really, once you've done this, you can put the whole thing together in, it takes almost no time at all. Famous last words, of course. So there we are, and there's say, do remember to clear your bits every now and again. So punching done. So there we are, that's what we're looking at. Probably easier to see it from that side. So all I'm going to do now is grab my fast fuse, and I'm going to stick all on the solid bits, on the narrow fold, so that's the narrow fold. All I'm going to do is run some fast fuse down to each fold, so between a fold to a fold, and then from a fold to a fold, and then just fold that over. And I would just be careful that you've got that all lined up, because you have got these very narrow bits, so you do want to make sure that you've got everything beautifully lined up. And then these bits will just squish in. Squish is a technical phrase, you understand. So let me just grab some ribbon. Now in the original version I used the metallic edge, so this was the silver and white with the tinsel. On this we don't have a copper metallic, so I'm just going to grab the 1/8 gold, purely because it's lovely and shiny, and make sure that you know where your back is. It's a reasonably well hidden back, because it's right on an edge, but that is my back. And I'm just going to tie that in a bow. It won't go completely closed because of the diameter of the tea lights. I didn't want to go too much deeper in the cardstock. You could probably build that in, but it just struck me as being a step too far. And it's the effect we're going for rather than an actual cracker. So there we are, just a little bow there. Then you drop in your tea lights, and this is where squishing it first is possibly not a great idea, because you do want to have a clear run into your cracker, but they do just drop nicely in. There we go, and then we can tie the other bow. So this is where you really do need to make sure you've got the same up. So I know some of you do like our weather reports, because I do get into this habit of doing a weather report. I am, after all, British, and it does seem to be a British thing that we like to update everyone on the weather. So having had the most bizarre beginning of our week, where we had the tail end of Hurricane Ophelia, we seem to be getting some more high winds over the weekend, and they're all beginning to come through. But at the weekend, this not being the weekend, oh, actually, by the time you see this, it probably will be the weekend, we are supposed to get some more high winds, so that's going to be fun. Right, so that's that. So all we've got to do now is the embellishment. Just remembered I hadn't brought down my rhinestones, which I'll want. So I've got literally, it's a scrap of Whisper White, and I'm bringing in the Cheers to the Years matching stamp set, although having said that, I've already got things mounted. So I'm going to be using the Snowflake and the Season's Greetings, and I'm going to carry on with that copper tone, but I'm going to use Sahara Sand, which is a slightly pink sandy colour, bing, obviously, and soft suede. So, and I just want a, do I want a scrap of paper, or do I think Sahara, no, I think Sahara Sand will be soft enough. Right, so with the Snowflake, I'm just going to ink that up, stamp it down onto my white cardstock, clean that off, and then that's all I need that for. And then soft suede, which has to be one of my favourite browns. Now, because this is going to be punched out, it actually doesn't matter whether I get this the right way up or not. But I will try and get it in line with the Snowflake. There we go, and that will all tone down a bit as it dries. No, you know what? I'm going to do it again. And I am going to stamp off my Sahara Sand, because I think it was a wee bit too dark. So I'm actually, because I've got it already here, just going to do my Season's Greetings. And then I can get rid of my soft suede. Bring in my Sahara Sand again, and the Snowflake. And then I'll just stamp it off first, and that's a bit better. It's not quite as dark with the Sahara Sand. It was just a bit too dark. So this is the one I'm going for, and this was just a bit, it didn't let the Season's Greetings stand out enough. Now I've very carefully written down I need the 2" and the 1 3/4" circle punch, and not got them out, so bear with. 2 and 1 3/4. Fortunately they're only the other side of the room. So I'm going to use the 1 3/4" circle punch to punch out this bit, and just line it up like that. And then for the mount, it's going to be that way up, I'm going to bring in the champagne foil, which is the one that came out in the Autumn Winter catalogue and is beautiful. It's just got that slightly pink tone, which I'm kind of trying to embrace with this particular version. So all I'm going to do with that is mount that on there with dimensionals. But before I do that, let's bring in some... I think the gold's going to be too much. I'll stick with the rhinestones, I think. Yes, stick with the rhinestones. Right, so paper piercer, and I'm going to take one of each size. This is the old version of the rhinestones. We don't do the strips anymore, but the rhinestones are the same, so the circles are the same. And I'm just doing a triangle round the greeting. Nature loves odd numbers for some reason. I don't understand it. I don't know why it is, but apparently nature loves 3 odd numbers. Apparently it sits better with our brain. I don't understand the theory behind it, but there we go. So 1, 2, 3. Ooh. I broke the thumbnail on this thumb, and it's I can't get used to it not being long enough. It's just weird. I go to pull the backings off dimensionals and it's just not there. Right, so that's that, and then I'm bringing in one of our lovely foil snowflakes. This is the silver one. This is the gold one. Clearly this is the gold one, and this was the silver one. So to mount all this up, what I'm actually going to do is put fast fuse on my cracker, and because my tea lights are in there, there's actually something to push against. Then pop the snowflake on top. Then, which I'll just add more fast fuse here. Oh, maybe not. Just be careful not to pull up your snowflake as you do it. There we go. And then just pop this in the middle. And there we go. 2 crackers for tea lights. I think that's a really nice way of wrapping for a gift. So really quick, really easy. If you've got the envelope punch board, it's a super quick project. If you haven't got the envelope punch board, they are so useful. As you can see, you can make crackers. We've made boxes with them before. Obviously, you can make envelopes. You know, if you want to use it for what it was made for, then fine. Just limit yourself to envelopes. But you can do so much more with it. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. As I say, there are all the details will be in the associated blog post with close-up photographs and all that good stuff. The products are listed below and on my website. Do pop over to my website and have a look at the photos and the other information there. If you are in need of designer series paper, do remember we're doing the buy 3 get a 4th free on selected designer series paper, which includes the Be Merry Christmas paper and the painted autumn paper from the autumn winter catalogue, as well as lots of the other papers in the annual catalogue. So have a look at that. Remember that I am still doing my giveaway for the Merry Pattern stamp set. So if you spend in my online store, if you're in the UK, spend in my online store, for every £25 you spend from the beginning of September to the end of October, you will get an entry into the free draw, and there are 3 stamp sets ready to be given away. So have a look at that. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. I was delighted that I've hit my 2,000 subscribers, but a few more would be even better before my birthday. And the subscribe button is down there. So I shall leave you with that. Thank you very much again for watching, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!